Hello, and happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to episode 25 of the Plight Attendant Show. This is the weekly series I created for everything that we are curious about, challenged by, or just want to talk more about. And today we're going to be talking about things like your health, which we all have all of our lives, or do we? Well, here to talk about that and more is Wendy Wiseman. So, Wendy, if you don't know her, you want to get to know Wendy. Wendy is amazing. She's the founder of the Happier, Healthier Humans community. She's the author and host of the Taming Your Tension toolbox, the Taming Your Tension podcast, the Taming Your Tension newsletter, and she is the creator of the W3 WISE Women Mastermind. Wendy Wiseman knows a thing or two about health, the body, movement, joy, all that, and we are going to talk about it all here today. But before we get started, as we always do, I'm going to take a couple of minutes for some housekeeping notes, just to be sure that everybody, we're all on the same page. So as you do and as you are right now, hi, Bruce, hi, Roman, hi, I know it's Carrie. Take a few minutes when you enter the chat. Let us know where in this great big wide world you are watching from. And any questions or comments you have for Wendy, just let us know. That's why we're here. Also, I am very glad that you all are here. If you know of anybody that you think should join this or any show, please remember, we are live streaming the Plight Attendant every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Special shout out to the Plight Attendant YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't. Plug. But just mentioning that because, again, I'm so grateful for all the subscribers. I'm grateful for you guys and the guest. This show doesn't happen without the guest. It was created to expose and invite people to, new information, people and resources that you might not otherwise get to know, people like Wendy. So I'm super grateful for her. I'm super grateful for you guys. Hi, Ann. Hi, Melissa. And without further ado, I'm going to get to Wendy because I want to make the most of this entire hour with her. So take it away, Wendy. How are you today? And thank you so much for being here.
Yay! Everybody that can, put your arms up in the air with the great big Y. Hooray! You're here. You made it. You're alive. It is important to celebrate you.
Yes.
That's what I'm here to do, to help everyone access the happier, the healthier within and around,
yes.
Despite the difficult times we're all going through in this wild world.
Yes, definitely. I mean, like, let us, for anybody who doesn't know, and we've got people coming in from Denmark, we've got people coming in from Washington, Texas, we've got Denver, Colorado in the house. This is amazing. And I know Bruce is in Hiram, Georgia. So thank you guys so much for showing out here today. So let us know, what got you started on this journey to living a life of joy and better health? Where you come from? Let us know.
Falling apart, of course. multiple episodes in life just will wear you down if you let it. Joy is a choice. We choose how we respond to the challenges placed before us to help us grow. And you can choose a life full of woe, or you can say, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
And there's a certain point, I'm Gen X, so I was completely Gen exhausted, as so many get in their 40s.
Yeah.
Oh, you start to feel the impacts of how you've chosen to live your life up to that point. Because it doesn't just happen. It's not just getting older. It is the accumulation of all the little choices that you've made and the impact on your system, your body being your vehicle. So I was in my mid 40s. I had gone through several depressions throughout my life. Major life things from high school with my parents separating to the first love. And then my brother was killed in a car accident. And then 3 years, just when I was starting to emerge from that grief cycle, 9/11 happened and I was in Manhattan. And then, deep dive into the glamour and glitter of the slow suicide of partying, smoking and drinking, and a fabulous lifestyle, right? And then I spent 5 years pulling myself up out of that dismay and financial recovery. And of course, March of 2020 happened and ripped the rug out again. Lost my mother to her cancer. She had a year back, and then lost my father the following year. So life has these cycles,
Yes.
and we experience love and loss. Hopefully we all experience deep, rewarding, radiating love.
Yes.
And accept that and honor the struggle that with that love comes deep pain and intense hurting. But it is a gift that shows us that we are living and loving. So back before the March 2020 thing, back in 2016, I had left San Francisco to regain my health, my happiness, to rebuild my body being and recreate myself. Unfortunately, the friend I chose to live with wasn't the critical thinker he claimed to be. He was just critical. But I was strong enough that I walked through those challenges. Instead of turning back to smoking or drinking, I would walk, and I blew up to over 200 pounds, an excess 60 some pounds on my frame, and my joints started to go. And, I chose to drive a bus instead of work in a cubicle, because a cubicle would have driven me deeper into depression. And I knew I needed to move through, literally. And helping someone else is a wonderful way to emerge from your own difficulties. I was driving a paratransit bus, helping others with special needs, and very strong reminders that things could be so much worse.
Yes.
And to count your blessings, because you never know, any minute, any day, any one of us.
Yes.
Boom, it's all gone away.
Yep.
So choosing to be happier and healthier in each moment, instead of wasting those moments going, or dropping out, or, just, it's a choice to bring the joy, to honor the struggle. And step by step, I brought myself back. I delivered a non-sighted person to the massage school here in Sacramento, which is one I had intended to go to an advanced neuromuscular therapy training years before. And I was like, hey, go for it. The opportunity isn't past. It's right here.
Yeah.
Right here at the door again. Go for it. And that got me back into doing body work, which is so important, that helping others. And so I became a certified health coach to help my own personal journey of regaining my physical well-being.
Yeah.
I mean, my knee was giving out. I couldn't do my ponytail. My arthritis was so bad in my hand. And, I was falling apart. I knew I was headed for pancreatic cancer or other horrible, things that I created in my dis-ease.
Yep.
I was creating that. So I made the choice. I slowed down with the sugar. I started moving more. I started doing, mindfulness practice, even while driving the bus, anchoring with color, with texture, with making yourself smile. Once it took me like 9 times to make myself smile. I was so wrapped up in the misery of my frustrations. But I knew that when you smile, it releases endorphins in your system and creates a positive response.
Yeah.
And so once I accomplished that, I not only had that positive endorphin hormonal response, I had the victory of having stuck with it and having accomplished that simple little smile. Not easy. Simple is not so easy. Right?
I actually think that's one of your hallmarks, is that when I see you, you're usually smiling. No matter what the circumstance is, you usually have a smile on your face, and it makes me do the same. I mean, give a heart in the audience or a thumbs up if you are smiling right now, just by Wendy talking about the beneficial part of smiling for you. Like, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes folks would be like, oh, your smile, it's so great. Why? And I'm like, the flip side of that coin is not something that I can feel it right now, like shriveling my skin a little bit.
Yeah.
It's dark
Yeah.
and it's heavy, and the world has enough of that. We don't need that.
Yeah.
We need the smile. We need to look the folks in the checkout line in the eye and say, thank you.
Yeah.
We need to look ourselves in the eye, in the mirror, and say, thank you.
Yes. Absolutely. I think that's such an important thing, and I like what you had said about, Melissa Houston, who I know is in the audience, and she said she's really digging the Venn diagram on the wise way behind you, move, meal, mind. And I know that's also something we can talk about too, because I know you help people with that with your programs. But she has a saying that I've heard her use, and I think it's brilliant. And you're an example of that. Would you ever, hire a boxing coach if you're a fighter who's never taken a punch? And Melissa, if I messed that up, please forgive me. But it's a really good point. Would you hire somebody who's not done the work to help you do the work they're telling you they can help you do? You have personally done that for yourself. And I think that is amazing. And I also think that it's something for everybody in the audience and everybody who's watching and not commenting, because that happens too. The audience is bigger than what we see. And everybody who watches on the replay, thank you for watching on the replay. We get a lot of people who watch the replay, because time zones are a thing in the world. But, I think that's really important that you've done all of that. So you understand the struggle that people are going through, whether it's health, whether it's obesity, whether it's, all those kind of things. And then you add other things to that can also impact how you think, your choices that you make, if it's financial, if it's whatever, like, family things, stress, strain, all those things, anxiety, we all deal with it. Anyone who says they don't is not being truthful to you or me
Yeah.
or themselves. We all deal with it. And so how we deal with it and finding people who are resources of support and knowledge is so important. So that's another reason why I'm so glad that you're here today and can talk to us about all the things that you do with Taming Your Tension, Happier, Healthier Humans. Like, you have a whole community that you've built. It is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So many things, too many things sometimes, too many things at once. You have to focus. And so I've honed that in, and then splashing into LinkedIn last summer was like, whoa, whoa, bubbles, bubbles, all of this whole learning how to navigate all of the networking and the
Yeah.
connecting and to really grow. We've all come so far, haven't we? Good job,
Yes.
guys. Round of applause for us. And we continue to grow forward. So yeah, I became a certified health coach and behavior change specialist, not only to reinforce my own journey, but to help folks. A lot of people think of massage as a luxury, or body work is just something, but it was one of the foundations of health and healing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
Right? Preventative and restorative medicine, working with your body, and not just physical, oh, I hurt my muscle, my back went out. It didn't just go out. Again, it was the choices you made leading up to that, right? But emotional. Chris of the Walking Tall movement just posted something about emotional exhaustion. And a lot of people don't realize that, trauma from years and years and years ago will get locked in. A lot of people have these little car accidents and they think they're fine, but that whiplash has locked in guarding mechanisms that then create that neck pain 20 years down the road. And you're like, what? This just came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. You didn't address or take the time. Rest and recovery is paramount.
Yeah.
So I teach these 3 simple keys. 3 is the magic number. We can all sing along, but it is a magic number, and you'll find all kinds of 3s, W, right? But I talk about the 3 keys to reset anywhere, anytime. I'm all about that. Anywhere, anytime. The tools you have within you, not take your shoes on or put them off or change your clothes or get on a mat or go to a special place or buy a certain thing, fitness fads, guru gimmicks, or deprivation diets, none of that.
Yeah.
What you have, everything you need within you when you remember to remember to remember. So the 3 keys that I talk about every day on my daily Taming Your Tension Today short sessions, available cross-platform. Ready?
Yes.
The 3 keys to reset anywhere, anytime, quickly, or you can indulge and take them longer. Breathe, smile, and enjoy. When you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, especially with longer exhales than the inhales, you're stimulating the relaxation response.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have your eyes closed, but you can choose to deepen that and to really sink into the sensations, anchoring with your body, your sensations. It's a great way to anchor. Smiling, as we already discussed, releases also those wonderful, refreshing reset
Yeah.
endorphins and hormones. And when you generate joy, yes, you can think about people, places, foods,
Yeah.
memories that you love that bring you joy, whatever it takes. Look at silly cat or dog pictures or videos, whatever it takes
Yeah.
to uplift yourself, uplift your energy.
Yeah.
That's what this is about, right? I often say with the big why, the arms up to the sky, because every coach will tell you, you've got to know your big why. You use your big why to keep going through. Well, my big why of arms up to the sky helps unwind the down over desks and devices tension pattern, physical tension. There's so many different types of tension. Like I alluded to, the emotional exhaustion.
Yeah.
There's physical tension, emotional tension, mental tension, social tension, interpersonal tensions, tensions with these darn devices we use, right? So you can use those 3 keys to just reset. The trick is any tool in your toolbox, you've got to practice how to use it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Very much. I'm not sure what happened to the chat. I think it's hopefully coming back. Hang on one second. I know this happened. This has been happening with Restream, and I hope it comes back. If you guys don't see the chat, it's because it just popped out, and hopefully it'll pop back in. I see everybody, but Restream is, having a little bit of a tantrum, so we're just going to enjoy it and roll with it. But I do think that's really such an important thing is that you having the techniques and some strategies to get through the things that we know are going to happen. We know they're going to happen. You're not going to stop it. You're not going to arrest it, but you can get through it. And that's really important. So I think that is definitely something that I'm glad that you brought up. I'm going to do like a little, oh, here we go. Chat's back. Thank you, Restream. So that's another thing is, that's a minor benign one, but you roll with things when they happen. You don't expect
tech tensions.
Exactly. But you roll with it. And you mentioned something too about posture. And I read this, and this to me was like, wow, that there's a whole new alignment of spine related to people walking and looking down at a screen. And that now we are actually changing the physical posture of human beings, the neck from the neck to I think it's where the neck meets the shoulder, right? So that's kind of scary to me, but that is something that now we have a propensity of looking down, and that does change the way we move.
Absolutely. And we've also put our feet in these hard rubber caskets, and our hands, our feet, our lips, our mouths have the most sensory receptors of all. And we've basically cut ourselves off in so many ways. Imagine, if you will, that you have hard rubber mittens on your hands.
Yeah.
How much functionality, how much sensation do you have? How that's what you've done to your feet.
Interesting.
A lot of people don't even touch their feet. They're never barefoot on earth. We've cut ourselves. That is an important bioelectric regulator.
Yeah.
Being in contact with the earth discharges, we ground ourselves quite literally. So we've cut ourselves off from that grounding and surrounded ourselves by these static electric and radio wave devices. And we wonder why we're like this. And people are like, I hold all my tension here. I'm like, stop holding it. Dogs do zoomies. Hooved creatures kick it out when they escape the lion, right? Let it go.
Yeah.
Shake it out. Literally shake it out.
Yeah.
If you squeeze and release and squeeze and release, it's like taking that
dry,
hard sponge and squeezing the water into it until it's soft and supple.
Yeah.
And you can do that with your muscles. Instead of trying to dig it out and fix it and, harder is not better. The muscles are already traumatized. Easy, soothing. Thank you for holding my head on. Thank you for holding my arm on. Thank you for carrying me through this world.
Yeah.
Yes. The way you talk to yourself. Other coaches have been on here talking about this, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're all mindset coaches.
Right. Everything starts with your mindset. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
My bad back, my sciatica. Are you making it a part of your identity?
Oh,
it's something you're experiencing. Like you're experiencing depression, you're experiencing financial hardship, you're experiencing job loss, you're experiencing back pain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're experiencing trouble with your knees.
Yeah.
It's not, My shoulder's a wreck. I'm such a mess. I'm so full of knots. I'm so stressed. I'm a wreck.
I think this is so genius because everybody does that, right? Like, I do it. I know my husband does it.
I'm feeling my age. I'm really getting old.
Right.
My body's feeling I feel my age in my bones. It's your
Yeah,
choices.
yeah,
It's every minute of every day. Going to the gym is great. Exercise is great for boosting your well-being, especially that heart muscle when you pump it up.
yeah,
But movement is required for life at a cellular level
yeah,
beyond just basic respiration and circulation. Cells need a certain amount of tension
yeah,
and stress. Tension and stress are required for life. It's the way that we accumulate or create imbalanced patterns.
Is that how you came up with Taming Your Tension?
Well, as a body worker, I'm a pain relief specialist, specializing in movement health
Yeah,
and relieving pain even virtually. I had a whiplash client that during lockdown had lost use of her hands and gone to the doctor who gave her pills and was like, "Oh,"
yeah,
and then she remembered we'd been working hands-on and she did a virtual package with me and 4 sessions
yeah,
of movement and just those reminders
yeah,
of because as soon as you get something like that, you tense up more and you tense up more and you get fear and it gets
yeah.
worse.
And just as an aside, when you talk about doctors, and no shade to doctors, they provide a necessary function. But my first neurologist after my MS diagnosis, every time that I would go and have my films done and all that, and then we would talk about obviously what had happened in the new progression. And he was always like prescribing this, that, and the other for that. And at one point, I was mentioning something that was happening, and he very quickly whips it out, writes out a prescription for gabapentin, which I think is also called Neurontin. And I was
Mhm.
like, I don't want to have a bunch of different medications. It's bad enough I've got to take the master, the DMD, but if you're going to give me a pill or a shot for everything, how am I going to know when something new is happening? How am I going to differentiate that there's something I need to pay attention to, that my body is changing, right? So no, I don't want to do that. Plus, I read the thing, and like the side effects were like rage and fear. Now I know for some
Yeah,
people it helped, but for me, I was like, I don't want to have a something that I take for every little thing. I want to be able to kind of like really get to know this bod, because it's going to be with me forever, right? Until I'm no more
yes.
in this experience, right? In a different experience, I'll have a different experience, but right now this is what I got, right? So I want to be sure that
Yeah,
I'm understanding what that how I'm moving. So I love that you said that, because again, I'm not being critical of the medical community, but there is that propensity to just want to write a script for every little thing and send
yeah,
you on your way, right?
yeah. It's sad. They're incredible when you have trauma or when you need something fixed. Modern medicine is nearly
Yeah,
miraculous, but it also does a lot of disservices in perpetuating it's your age. You're
yeah,
just getting older.
yeah,
Oh, we see some arthritis. And in the oh, we'll just give you these inserts for your shoes and not tell you about how to do exercises for your
right.
feet. That's a crutch. You don't get in a cast and stay in a cast forever, because if you've ever been in a cast, you know that everything in there shrivels
Yeah.
and then you have to rehabilitate it. So it's everything. Modern medicine, your choices, your everything in life there's pros and cons.
Yeah,
There's the good and the bad. There's the light and the dark. It's the yin yang. And
absolutely.
and it's a constant dance. There is no work-life balance,
Yes.
people.
I'm so
It's
glad you said that.
balancing. It's a dance. We are dynamic beings.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because I've said that before where, a lot of people want to talk about this thing, but again,
Yeah.
they're all entwined. It is what we do every day. And so people who are talking about it, I think, haven't figured out that maybe you're doing all of it anyway. Work, and I've said this before. I think Bruce is in the audience, and of course I've known Bruce for a long time, and one of the things I've always told people is that life happens during work hours, because life is happening all while you're doing everything else. So you're not trying to balance that part of it, because then that would mean you'd have to do life parental balancing, life eating balancing, life sleeping, like you're living while
But you
you're doing
do.
everything. And so I think that it's so important. So I love that you said that, because it's one of those things that people say and we hear,
Yeah.
but you don't, that's not that's not a thing. It's not a thing. As the kids
That's
say
part
today.
of
Yeah.
that's part of the way. That's part of where the way came out. It's because of the way we think about things, the way we say these things. And, people are like, they fall into those trends of, oh, it's just my age, whatever. Or the thing is, people will be doing all of the right things. Like I'm stretching when they're actually doing it instead of just telling me they are. But it's the way. There's these minute changes, right? If you're sitting here, if you just shift your scapula a little bit, if you just have your arm hanging at your side, if you turn your palm out, or I call it the hitchhiker thumb, right? If where's my camera? There we go.
Oh,
From
sorry.
this to this,
Yeah.
with your arms. If you go back and watch my witty, I did a month of yay arms, yay every day, and then witty, WIT, and the T's were palm up and palm down. So that shift, that rotating of your humerus in the socket creates changes. So if you're just doing, if you're human doing, I'm doing stretching instead of like you talked about being and feeling and sensing what you're doing, slow down. This is a case where less is more.
Yeah.
So that you can tune in. And hopefully, we're so busy numbing and cutting off and fixing it that we're not even really aware. Our bodies, we're in our heads and we're out of tune with our bodies. I've already talked about how we've disconnected ourselves from the earth energy that we're part of this entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
We are the collective, folks. Resistance is futile. You are assimilated because we're all interconnected energetically, and there, you can cut yourself off as much as you want, but it's still a part of you and who you are. Yes.
So speaking of who you are and what you're doing, so what you're doing is you have several programs. So talk to people about your work, what you do, how you can help them, because again, and don't forget, guys, we're coming up on almost 28 minutes after the hour. So we've got half the show to go. If you have questions for Wendy, like specific, like this is a time to ask, because, she's just got so much knowledge about this stuff. And also you're going to find out how you can possibly work with her, because that's also really good to have somebody who's an expert at your disposal. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like what's the main thing people come to you for, and that you're like your offer, like what is it that you can help them with?
All right. Well, I do, targeted tension taming, precision pain relief, working one-to-one. So there's three main things that we've got going on now. I know, WW. You can work with Wendy. That's the one-to-one or group coaching. I do group coaching, group experiences for HR teams that work from home or other communities or organizations. I'm going to be on the Sober Society tomorrow. SoberSociety.com. I'm going to be a part of their group, do a little yay movement thing for that. So that's one way, is me as a coach. And then there's the Happier, Healthier Humans Community Collective. I'm founder of a community collective. Yes, it does have my courses. My Wise Choices course comes with membership. It has challenges that I've created, but it's not about me and my coaching and my courses. But yes, you do have access to my coaching just by being a member. So that's great for folks that can't afford the one-to-one, right? And I'm bringing together a collective of other coaches there. So it will be the tension taming toolbox with the community support off social media, free from the drain and the distraction of the feed, a safe space. And within that safe space, I'm just now launching the W3 Wonderful Wise Women, which is a health-focused mastermind, because most of the masterminds are all business, which is great. But without your health, what good is the wealth?
Exactly.
Because the health is the true wealth.
Exactly.
And a lot of what I do with helping folks make those small shifts and tiny steps in the way you do things, boosts your productivity and unlocks so many of the blocks that can help you work more efficiently when you remember to take those breaks. Maybe it's every 20 minutes to look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. That's a 20-20-20 rule that will really help save your eyes over the years, folks. 20 feet away, 20 seconds. Use your vision for more than this. That's part of the text neck Gretchen was talking about, hanging your head over, lift your phone up instead. So those are the 3 main paths of work with Wendy, become a member. You can come to the community through the tamingyourtension.com, goes to my link tree. And when you click the community there, there's the free ungated area with kind of blog posts, mostly daily, the whole archive of my 205, today will be 206 episodes of Taming Your Tension Today. Those are short, 3 to 12 minute little stress soothing, super stress soothers, terrific tension taming tips, healthy habit helpers, pain prevention practices, taming your tension today. And those replays are available on YouTube, which is also linked to at the tamingyourtension.com link tree links, all of the places. You can follow me all over. I'm not really active on a lot of the platforms other than LinkedIn. But I pop in and feed them things so that when I have a small team to go and nurture that, we'll have that, all of those, they're the little tendrils of the giant tree, this garden, that I'm growing has all of these little tendrils.
I think that's so important. Actually, Melissa had a really good question. I want to put that back up. She says, what is your favorite way to de-stress without anyone knowing what you are doing? Breathing, muscle tense, and then relax. Like what's your go-to?
Yes, I was just reading that. Thank you. Those are both excellent ones. The mindfulness anchoring is key, and you can do that with the breathing.
Okay.
But sometimes people have a hard time breathing. Tuning into your breathing, you can hear how my posture is affecting my speech right now. That's affecting my breathing. I can't take a deep enough breath, but when I sit up, so making that check, little wiggles of like, if your pelvis is a bowl of water, right? And then you think, can I slosh the water around in it without spilling any? That's a great way to loosen up your low back tension. Tiny little wiggles. They might, if you do it too fast, they're going to think you have a pee-pee dance or something, or there's something wrong with you. But you can do these subtle little micro moves.
Yeah.
And the contract and relax is another great one, right? Especially for these low mid back under your scapula.
Yeah.
Or you can make them bigger, but people like, squeeze, 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 and really squeeze it down the other way. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Don't do this if you have a high blood pressure, and bounce it out and squeeze it, squeeze it. When you squeeze one way, like flexing your bicep, this is a hack that requires your tricep to release.
Yeah.
So if you have tight hamstrings, you can contract your quadricep. That's your thigh muscles, the front of your thigh, and your hamstrings is the back of your thigh. So it is a little muscle hack, that the contract and relax, and agonist contract and relax.
I love it.
The crack stretch. It's like crack for your muscles because it makes them let go.
Yeah.
So you can do those kind of little, you can push into your hand a little bit and then release and wiggle it just a little bit. And it feels good, doesn't it? It's important to put a little more play in your day and in the way you do that. Like if you sit there and think, I'm so tense, I'm so tired, guess what you're going to be?
Yeah, tense and tired. Yeah. Yeah, what you tell yourself matters.
What is this trying to tell me? Oh, this is telling me to pick my phone up instead of hanging over it. This is telling me I need a break. I need to go outside. Getting curious. I boiled my core values down to 3, the umbrellas for the other ones. It is curiosity, creativity, and caring.
Okay.
So becoming a detective and, being interested and inquisitive instead of judgmental, instead of labeling.
Yes. Yeah. And I know that's such a sort of human thing to do, right? We're sort of conditioned to do that. In the absence of information, we sort of create our own reality, and we assume facts, not evidence, to fill in the gaps because we're gap fillers. And I get that, but I think that's
we're
so
wired
important.
for negativity.
Yes, and to sort of understand that and try to do those little mental pivots, those little reframes, like you're saying, their mental wiggle room is just as good as the sacral and the spinal and all the other wiggle. Like I think it's all so important because again, like you said when we started the show, this is the vehicle. This is what you have to work with. And, I know that, a lot of people think that the key to health is to spend X number of minutes on a device like a treadmill or a stair step or whatever, and then to eat like a certain macro or whatever. Like there are all these theories out there, and all these things are like the way to do it. But at the end of the day, you come back to the thing you started with, which is your body, right? Yeah. And tapping into, yeah.
The foundations of, let's get in. That was a great segue into the simple health formula.
Yeah.
The 3x3, the wise way formula that I like my core values. I boiled it down into what is, minimum viable product, or that might speak to some of you better. What is the least we can do for the maximal benefit, right? And to get out of this whole mindset of eat right and exercise. What does that even mean? And then all of the marketing messaging, oh, no, do it this way. It's overwhelming. So I'll just sit on the couch and check out here, man.
Yeah.
And I'm out. But so if you boil it down and make it simple and reduce the friction, right?
Yeah.
We talk about these things that applied to business and productivity and all kinds of things. So you want to be more productive about your health and actually not let the things collect the dust. Well, go ahead, let them collect the dust because you don't need them. You have everything within you. When you have that playful, exploratory attitude and energy. So here we go. The formula is M3 plus A3 equals H3. We, happier, healthier humans. The M3 is move, meal, and mind. You just want to move more. Start there. Before you go run a marathon, walk to the mailbox or walk to the bathroom.
Okay.
Walk to the kitchen. And then meal real. Just cut the crap. Slow down with the sugar.
Yeah.
Stop beating yourself up about your choices. Eat the cupcake. Just don't eat the whole tray.
Right.
Right? Yeah. And know that you're going to get a sugar slam from that. And know that 72 hours is a cellular cycle. And your bad mood 3 days from now might be because of the box of cookies you're eating right now. So when you have a fight with your partner, and it seemed to have come out of nowhere, look back and think about your behavior the past 3 days.
Yeah.
72 hours is a cellular cycle where your system is shifting.
Yeah.
And on that note, mind well. What you put in, whether it's from within you or from around you, the people, places, things, and thoughts create your reality.
Yes.
And I have a wonderful infographic that you can have at the website, or when you sign up at wise.happierhealthierhumans.com/get-wise.
Okay.
And I'll put that in the comments later. You can find it on my feed. Yes, or I'll send it to you. If you message me, I'll send it to you.
Let me see. I've got your LinkedIn here. And so is it this link where it says enjoy less pain, more energy? They can click that link on your profile.
I think that goes to my link tree right now.
Okay.
So it's on my posts and
okay. So yeah, if you're not connected with Wendy, this is what her page looks like, and you will know you are there when you go to this link right here, where we are showing her LinkedIn is Wendy-S-Wiseman. And so you can connect with her on LinkedIn. I think that's going to be super important because there's just so much information that she has there with her website, like everything. I mean, there's just so much, like you were saying, and she's doing these little digestible pieces of video every day to kind of help you through these things, which I think is so important too, because, I think a lot of it is just remembering that in the moment, we forget about that. And we plan to do things later, but in the moment is when you're actually living. And so what are we doing in the moment? And if like you say, if I eat the cupcake, then I'm like, that was really good, I'm gonna have another one. Okay. And then I regret it. Okay. So instead of living with regret, just go, it was really good, but now I don't feel as good maybe, so I don't have another one, whatever that looks like for you. Right. Yeah. So I think that's also really important, is not to beat yourself over your choices. You can always make different choices any second of any moment. You can make a different choice. If you didn't like the last one you made, cool. That's knowledge you now have. So now you're thinking differently. Now act differently from it, Yeah.
And it goes back to what we were talking about, tuning in. And it's not just the medicine and shoes that are cutting us off from our senses. It is these foods. When you start to eat, when you start the sugar slowdown, official processed, your taste buds are freed from this prison of falseness that they have been put on to sell you more product that doesn't fuel your well-being. There's the whole big food to big pharma to big medicine money machine that is designed for you to be sick, that you want to step out of and just dip in. So the 80-20 is a good rule of thumb. Yeah, go out to eat or go have that bag, that shiny bag of chips is so good that you love. Don't deny yourself. Find the balancing that works for you. You know, do the little, give yourself the wiggle room. Appreciate that it's your choice, own it and say, yeah, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to love every minute of it. And then you might be, when we tune in, you might be, that didn't taste so good after all. I used to love that, but now that my taste buds actually work, I find that that's not so tasty. So, and recognize that that's going to change. Life is a journey. We're always changing. You're not the same as you were yesterday. You're certainly not the same as you were 7 years ago.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So your path forward, just because your back is bad right now doesn't mean it has to keep getting worse or be like that forever. It's your choice to accept it or to learn to work with it and possibly improve it. It's possible. Unless you think it's impossible.
And that's such a good point, because again, it goes back to your mindset. You know, you take action based on your mindset, what you believe, right, to be right, true, real, and possible for you, or not. If you don't believe it's possible, you're not going to do anything about it. If you do, then you will. And so that creates the action you take, which creates the reality that you live. And so I think that is such an important thing to mention. And I love the fact that you're, you know, it's all about what works for you. It's not, you know, some restrictive, you know, like crazy exercise and diet plan and, you know, all this kind of thing. And I like the fact that these are the things we can all do. We all need to move as human beings. We all have to eat to fuel our bodies to support the movement. And we all have these wonderful, beautiful little things called a mind that can be really big things. And that's like your motherboard, your master control, your whatever you want to call it.
Central processing unit.
Absolutely. That's the thing that's going to help you get where you want to go and make the other two possible. I love it. I love it.
That brings me back to Melissa had asked about, you know, taming the tension in the moment when nobody knows what you're doing. Touch is very powerful, and it actually closes a circuit, and not touch to dig out. But if you simply touch and allow your body to have that feedback to the central processing unit, it will, you know, because sometimes our body will shut off the signals because we've been ignoring it so long, and there's too much noise, right? Just like we do in a crowded room. It's selective listening. But by just adding a gentle touch and tuning in, you're going to hear me talk about tuning in over and over and over again, because I need the reminder. We all need the reminder. We all need to tune in and tune in, and tune it, be here now and now and now and now. Mindfulness is such a powerful practice. You don't have to be able to meditate. Tune in. Sensing, having more sense about living well with your senses.
I think that's really, I think it's so important. Like paying attention to things is just like that, observing and noting. And like you were saying about eating the chips. And it's like, I've done that where, you know, you'll just try to, you know, like I have this thing that I do, and I actually call it an eating meditation, where I try to eat as slowly as possible, because I'm somebody who's like, I'll just mindlessly while I'm doing something else. And so that's a big one, right? So I'll try to do it as slow as possible. And I had one that I did where I took a grape, right? And I peeled the grape. And then, you know, I very slowly ate the little shavings of the peel. And then I had the middle of the grape. And it was the slowest thing ever, but the texture of I never noticed that grapes had a texture, because I was eating them just whole, like pop one bite and then down they go. And this was so eye-opening. And I did that with, I love me some Doritos Cool Ranch. I do. I love them. But I did it and they didn't taste the same.
Right.
They did, and they have never, ever tasted the same since I did the slow, like really like the crunch, the texture on my tongue, the different flavors, because there's a lot of different flavors in it. It didn't taste the same. Yeah.
It's It's sad sometimes. I mean, I used to love the goldfish, the little crunching in my teeth, but it was more of an emotional eating, the crunch and the size and the feeding to
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a method of numbing. And,
Yeah.
but then I would get the bloat from that, you know, it was empty calories, empty, it was feeding me emotionally, and detracting from my physical
Yeah.
well-being. And so,
I
you know,
think
you go through, you slowly make these shifts and changes. It doesn't, don't, drastic rarely works. If you need to do a drastic diet, work with a registered nutrition for your
yeah.
health, for diabetes or something. Yes, do it, but work with a professional. Deprivation dieting on your own is dangerous. Fasting on
Very
your own
much.
is dangerous.
Yeah.
So be wise, make wise choices.
And I love
And
that. Yeah. I love
can I
the
plug
wise.
now? I'm going to plug right now.
Yes. Plug, plug,
Join
plug. This is
me
your show.
for an awesome August accelerator with Wise Choices. When you join the community membership, we're going to ace your health, ace Wise Choices, accelerator cohort experience. I love my witty words and acronyms. Ace
You're a
it.
natural marketer, man.
Because I am turning Wise Choices into a book to go out the door in 2024. So to take it from the course ebook to publishing, there needs to be stories and little anecdotes and folks' experiences. So yes, you might be able to be a part of the book when you join to learn more about the Wise Choices. And it's set up as a 12-week program or a choose your own adventure. And out of that, I created the Wise Way Wheel because it's beginner's mind. We're constantly coming around and around and around, right?
Mhm.
How much better have we gotten at going live, Gretchen, right? You get better each time you come around and you deal with the next
Yeah.
challenge. Okay, this time I'm going to look at my movement. I'm going to focus on this one thing. This time
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on this. This time I'm going to take this one a little bit deeper. Oh, today I got to go look at that toxic load lesson because, you know, your skin is your biggest organ, folks. So
Yeah.
watch those body products that maybe aren't so good for you, that the marketers have their
Yes.
hooks in you with.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. So you can do the program or you can do a choose your own adventure, which I love the wording for that. I think that's really important. And that's going to start when?
It's in the membership. Anybody who joins the membership gets the course. It's in the courses area. The accelerator starts next week and you can join in and out. But the idea of an accelerator is you come together as a group and go through it. It helps hold you accountable. And
Okay.
so each day I'll be, you know, releasing the lessons, condensing it down as little snippets of the many lessons. And sorry, my brain's trying to give you links that I can't deal with too many things at once right now. And also starting is the women's mastermind. If you're interested in being a part of that space, and would like to lock in a special low founders rate, message me to make sure you're a good fit. And it's going to be an incredible annual discount, sliding scale, depending on your financial space. But I want to have a group of wonderful women. The focus is Gen X because that's me and my experience, what I've gone through, what I know, and your hormonal physical body being is a little different from,
Mhm.
35, 45 to 65 is the core. I work with some
Yeah.
folks younger, I work with some folks older, but the core is that 45 to 65
Okay.
special change time.
So I'm going to make it easy for people. So again, here's how you can connect with Wendy, right here. You got her website and you've got her LinkedIn. Now, also, Wendy, if you want to go back into on LinkedIn or YouTube and you want to put in the links
Yeah.
to your programs, feel free to do
I'll
that.
do that
Anybody else?
after.
Yeah, definitely. So go back to, if you're watching the replay, they're already there. If you're watching us live, and thank you for joining us live, for taking time out of your day to do that. But you can also go back and she will populate and she'll put in the links for that, so that if you have, a physical ailment, a challenge, a pain, whatever, and you really want help with that, you want help with a, kind of just, living a more joyful life full of movement, life full of mindfulness practice. Like this is a great way to do it, is to work with Wendy and be a part of her Happier, Healthier Humans community, because I think that's really important. So again, her contact information is right here, and she'll put those links in the comment section of the
Yes.
live stream for this.
Yes.
And that way we can all,
If you want them now, you can find them in posted in the comments of posts on my feed. So, you know, if you got that impatient thing, I want it now, I want it now, you can find it. It's
yeah.
pretty easy.
But you can also, don't forget, you know, I'm going to go back to, and again, if you see me looking this way, I'm looking at all my tabs that I have to like do all this stuff with. But again, this is her LinkedIn page. So when you connect with her, you'll be able to message her directly and get that information and ask her more detail about the program, because, you know, remember, it's all about living a happier, healthier life, you know. That, I mean,
Choices.
what more could there be? Like, what better, like, that's nirvana to me. That's like the holy grail of everything. You
And
know,
it
I
is
think it's,
more important now than ever, and that's a lot of where this, you know, has come from, the whole 9/11 in my journey, and, you know, I created this pre-COVID, but it's more important now than ever, because life is going to keep throwing you curveballs and
yep,
dragging you down into the dumps. And, you
yep,
know, you can go read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, whatever the title is, or listen to Nelson Mandela's experience in the prison. But it is your choice in each moment how you show up for yourself. And that impacts those around you and the environment at large. So together, we create a better world as happier, healthier humans. It's the ultimate think globally, act locally here.
right. No,
Radiate
yeah.
love.
No, I love it. I love it. And I
Love.
love that
I
the,
love
the
love.
community is there, because you made a comment earlier I think is so important, is that when you're working with a group, you have all that extra support from each other, from other people who are going through and experiencing something similar to you and have similar goals, right? Of doing exactly what we're talking about, which is living a more joyful life, you know, a life full of, you know, just wise choices. I love it. I mean, you're, you know, everything about you is geared for this, including your name, like, you know, but literally, like, wise choices, they don't have to be this prescriptive, like, hard to follow, like, too complicated, like, you know, all the stuff that we hear about.
Yeah.
It literally can just be living a life that makes sense to you. And if it feels good to you, right? Because if you don't feel good, that's your body giving you a very clear message. But are we
Healthy
listening?
doesn't have to be so complicated.
Yeah.
Pain isn't always bad. It's a signal.
Yeah.
It's our opinions and our response to that pain. Healthy doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah. I love that.
Pain isn't always bad. One more time. Healthy doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah.
Pain isn't always bad. It's a
Yeah.
signal. Tune in, breathe, assess, be here now. I'm so happy you're here now.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Like I say, I mean, we've had
Melissa,
so many great
Mary,
Dennis. Yeah, we've
Bruce,
had, I mean, like,
Dean
so many great
LeMay,
people.
Anne.
Yep. And Bruce did say, you know, he said, thank you so much for having Wendy. Really insightful and positive. Really enjoyed it. And it's one of the things that, again, I think is just your hallmark, is that's the kind of, I always see you smiling. And I think that's really important, because no matter what we've been through, and you've experienced a lot, and you've overcome a lot, and you've learned a lot, which means you can teach a lot, right?
Sharing is caring.
Absolutely. I think it's so important. Oh, I see Omar's here.
I talk about your choice. Are you a stagnant poison puddle or a fresh bubbling spring? And
Yeah.
that metaphor has kind of anchored in and resonates with folks the most, because it's very clear. It's very clear. Are you sitting there? Because that's what's happening in your tissues. They're becoming stagnant and sluggish.
Yeah.
And if you can just uplift yourself a little bit, and it's not easy. That's why community is so important. It's hard. Change is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That also, I think, too, is really great, because, again, like you said, when you are part of that community, you have so many other resources available to you with other people. You know, I think community is just one of those things that it's critical with anything, because, again, one person, it's great, but when you have more, you have that support, you have that momentum with each other. You can keep each other going. You can ask each other questions. I think it's great. Carrie says, always great. No, thank you. Wendy is the best. She is, absolutely.
Thank
The energy,
you.
Yeah, we knew the energy would be high octane on this show
Hey,
today.
Carrie's jokes that he DMs to people every day and his uplifting, humorous, tossing them in comments here and there, that is also very important. Laughter is good medicine, people.
Yes.
And keeping it light despite difficult times. Now, if you're a coach that would like to be a part of the collective that I'm putting together for the Happier, Healthier Humans Community Collective, the Tension Taming Team, the Tension Taming Toolbox, the Tension Taming Trainings, reach out to me. Let's talk about building this together.
Okay.
If you're someone that is financially challenged but really wants to be a part of this and is committed to it, talk to me. There's plenty of ways we can work through this. And there's other things I have to offer, like a stem cell activating patch and essential oils, other ways, other paths, and a host of other professionals. If you're just overwhelmed by the information out there, Gretchen has a wonderful database of people. I have tons of people to refer you to.
Yep.
It just starts with a conversation. We're here to help.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. So we have 4 minutes left, and I want to just ask if there's one final piece of advice, wisdom, thought, anything. What would you want to leave people here with today?
You've got
you on the spot.
I think I just said it. Laughter is the best medicine. And sometimes, it might lead you to a little bit of crying, but it's lighter crying than the heaviness. Breathe, be here, tune in. We're all here to help.
Yeah.
Radiate love towards yourself and others. I know that wasn't one thing. I'm not very good at the one thing.
You know what, though? I think that's what's so great about you, though, is that your energy is infectious, and there's a reason for that. When people don't feel good, they don't have that energy. And so when you do, you have so much to give. And I also think it's also a hallmark and indication of how much you know. And how much you can, help people, because you have just so much at your disposal here that you can just run with and go with, and just so much information. Yeah.
And I am struggling, folks. I am struggling. I am in a deep financial crisis. Life is not easy. It is not easy to get out of bed every day, but I am showing up with this positive energy to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
I honor the struggle. It's not easy. I don't have it all together. My ducks are all over the place. So, don't buy into the illusion of the fast cars and all that other stuff. We're all struggling with something. Give yourself some grace and reach out when you need a helping hand.
I love that. I think that's so important, because that's the kind of real support that people need to understand. Everyone is challenged. Everybody goes through something, but it's how you get through it and who's there to help support you along the way. And so once again, I do want to just, as I've said before, this is where you connect with Wendy. Again, you can do it at happierhealthierhumans.com. You can do it at Wendy-Wiseman, Wendy-S-Wiseman, sorry, on LinkedIn. And really, again, there's so much information that's available to you with her. And I see, Mike just got here. Hi, Mike. He's also great. He's right. The energy is contagious with you. And I love that. When are you doing your next Taming Your Tension? It's today. You do one every day.
Yeah, they broadcast at about 9:33 a.m. Pacific time. So whatever time that is, wherever you are, the whole archive is at YouTube at Taming Your Tension streams, and of course in the community collective in the public zone, the ungated area.
Love it. So. That's awesome. Okay, so that is also 9 a.m. Pacific is going to be about noon Eastern Standard Time. If you're Central, it's also going to be
33.
Yep. So definitely check that out. Check her out. DM her. Connect with her. You could there's so much you can learn from her. We all have. We've only had an hour and we've all learned so much. That 72-hour cell recycle, oh my gosh,
watch the replay.
So much good information.
Invite your friends. Watch the replay.
Absolutely. Definitely catch the replay. There's so many people who watch the replay and so many people who don't comment but are here because they get so they're here. And if you are, please connect with Wendy. She is never going to let you down. And I appreciate you being here. And the audience, everybody who is here, thank you so much. We are going to do it again next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will leave you with Wendy. And thank you so much, everybody. Bye.
Yay!